Our next speaker will be Bert Rapp. Bert currently serves as the general manager of the General River Water District. Prior to joining the Water District, he served 20 years as head of public works for the city of Fillmore. Among his many achievements, and by my reading against some very significant odds, was the successful completion of the city's state-of-the-art water recycling facility. Among its many accolades, Bert's plant, if I may be so brazen, was chosen by the Ventura County chapter of the American Public Works Association as the project of the year for 2010, and it received multiple awards for its efficiency, function, and innovation, including for the design, build, and operate contract structure. The design-build approach, heavily criticized at the time, has since been adopted by the city of Ventura, the city of Santa Paula, and has been used in Peru as an efficient method of structuring major works. Prescient when it was initially proposed, Bert's water treatment plant proposal was attacked by critics as being a Cadillac plant, with opponents pushing quite aggressively for a less expensive design and alternative funding methods and location. As we now know, had the critics prevailed, the people of Fillmore would have had to install a different type of facility at twice the capital and operating cost. So Bert's going to talk a little bit about kind of the politics of dealing with the municipal government vis-a-vis water issues, and then talk a bit about his experiences as manager of the Ventura River Water District.
Thank you. We may be facing a large project together as a community to increase our water supply and make it more sustainable. I've done multiple projects over my lifetime. The water recycling plant, of course, was probably the biggest, and it took a good 10 years from start to finish to do something like that. So I think the most important first step is to educate the public about what the need is. I think we've all kind of been self-educated the last 5 years as we watched the lake go down, and our watering habits changing and our landscapes are changing. So there's a lot of education happening right now. And then a next really big step is figuring out the alternatives. No matter what your project is, there's lots of different ways to skin the cat. So having good public involvement from the beginning on what are the concepts that could be used to solve a problem, and then getting down and getting some, I'd call it a 100,000 foot level, from an airplane up high, and you're looking at big concepts and putting dollar figures for the value of each alternative. And once you've got that, it gives you a general idea of the directions you can go to solve the problem, and then you start honing down and come down to the 10,000 foot level and get into more detail on the alternatives. And then once you have an idea of your top candidates for approaches to solving a problem, then you've got to get your environmental document done, and you do a detailed environmental analysis on your best alternatives. That involves even more public input, because everybody gets the chance to look at every aspect of a project, all of its environmental complications, right-of-way purchases, property purchases you have to do, the capital cost of making each alternative work. And then once you've completed your environmental document, your top project should come out and be the project you're going to pursue. So then you've got to get to work on funding and financing. You've got to figure out how you're going to get from here to there and pay for it. So as a utility, like a water district, or I was with a city at that time, so it was a sewer fee. You had grants. You had opportunity to put it before the voters, to put it on their property taxes. If it's a water rate, it can be in either the base fee, which is the mandatory amount you have to pay each month, whether you use one drop of water or not, or it can be in the usage or cost per gallon. So you have those choices you bring together, and you've got to have the public with you, because if you're going to go out and do a vote to put it on the property tax, you got to get a 2/3 majority vote. If you're going to do it on their rates, then they have the ability to do a protest and stop the project, like what's happening in Oxnard, with their sewer rates. So you've got to have the public on board, and it's best to have them on board from day one. It's really good to make sure you've studied all the alternatives and you're confident that you've chosen the best way to get the project done. And then, once you've got your financing figured out and what you can get in grants, what you have to put on the rates and different approaches, then it's time to get the project done. And probably the most important thing is, once they hit go, is to get in there and get it done and get finished under budget and ahead of schedule. One of the most important things I learned was that time is money. We've all heard that saying, right? When you're, like, that project was a $65 million project. This project could be $100 million to a $200 million project. The more time you take, the more it's going to cost. So you figure out what's the right thing to do. You get your public support behind you, and then you get it done as quickly as you can, and you'll save money. We came in under budget on that project. We came in ahead of schedule on that project. If you dilly-dally and you waffle in the middle of things, you will cost yourself lots of money. So that's about it.